The snow fell in thick sheets across Frostholm Station, turning the residential district into a frozen wasteland. Nyra stumbled through the street, her scaled skin turning a dangerous shade of blue-gray. The cold bit through her thin work uniform, making every step harder than the last. She had arrived on this human colony world 3 months ago, full of hope. The labor broker promised good pay at the spaceport, loading cargo ships. But after 2 months of hard work, the broker found a loophole in her contract. He kept her wages and disappeared. Now she had nothing. No money for food. No money for shelter. No money for a ticket home to her warm desert planet. Today the storm came without warning. The temperature dropped fast. For a Valkyrie like Nyra, cold meant death. Her species needed heat to survive. Their blood ran cold in freezing weather. Their bodies shut down. She could already feel her fingers going numb. Nyra approached the first door in the residential block. It belonged to a Thesien family. She knocked with trembling hands. A tall, insect-like creature answered. "Please," Nyra said in broken standard language. "I need shelter. Just until storm passes. I am very cold." The Thesien clicked its mandibles. "We cannot help you. Thesien custom forbids sheltering outsiders. It brings bad fortune to the nest." The door closed. Nyra moved to the next door. A Gorvan merchant lived there, she had seen him before. She knocked. He opened the door just a crack. "Sir, please. I need warmth. I will freeze." The Gorvan shook his head. "I run a business. Cannot risk legal problems with homeless aliens. The colony has shelters. Go there." The door shut firmly. But Nyra knew the public shelters were full. She had tried earlier. The storm brought many people seeking warmth. They turned her away. No space left. The third door belonged to a Centauri couple. They looked at her with pity but shook their heads. "Our lease does not allow extra occupants. The landlord will evict us. We are sorry." Door after door, the pattern repeated. Aurelian refused because his religion prohibited contact with cold-blooded species. A Vesker said her apartment was too small. Aqualian claimed he was allergic to Valkyrie skin secretions. Some aliens simply looked at her and closed the door without words. Nyra's legs grew weaker. The 17th door belonged to a Xinthian trader. He opened it, looked her up and down, and laughed. "You want free shelter? Nothing in this galaxy is free, lizard. Come back when you have something to trade." The door slammed in her face. Nyra stood in the snow, swaying. Her vision blurred. Ice formed on her scales. She could barely feel her feet anymore. Her heart rate slowed. This was how Valkyrie died in the cold. Slowly. Quietly. Their bodies simply stopped working. She saw one more door at the end of the row. Number 18. Her last chance. Nyra forced her frozen legs to move. Each step took all her strength. She reached the door and raised her hand. It felt like lifting a heavy weight. She knocked once. Twice. The third knock was weak. The door stayed closed. Nyra knocked again, softer this time. Her arm dropped to her side. She could not lift it anymore. The cold wrapped around her like a blanket. Her eyes started to close. Maybe this was better. Maybe freezing to death was peaceful. At least the struggle would end. Her knees buckled. She collapsed against the door, sliding down to the ground. The metal was so cold it burned her skin. But she could not move away. She had no strength left. Inside the apartment, Nathan Pierce sat on his old couch, reading a book about starship engines. He worked as a maintenance technician at the spaceport. His shift ended hours ago, right before the storm hit. He made it home just in time. Nathan heard something. A soft thump against his door. Probably the wind, he thought. The storm was getting worse. He went back to his book. Another sound. Weaker this time. Like something sliding down the door. Nathan put down his book and stood up. That did not sound like wind. He walked to the door and checked the security screen. The camera showed a figure slumped against his door. An alien. Female, he guessed from the body shape. Not moving. He opened the door quickly. Cold air rushed in. Snow swirled around the doorway. The alien woman fell backward into his apartment. Her scales were covered in frost. Her eyes were half closed. Her lips moved but no sound came out. Nathan did not hesitate. He grabbed her under the arms and dragged her inside. He kicked the door shut with his foot. The alien was surprisingly light. He carried her to his couch and laid her down gently. Her skin was ice cold to touch. Reptilian species, he realized. They need heat. Nathan ran to his bedroom and pulled every blanket from his bed. He wrapped them around her carefully. Then he cranked up the heating unit to maximum. His small apartment would get uncomfortably hot for him, but she needed warmth now. Nathan went to his kitchen and filled a pot with water. He set it to boil for tea. Hot liquids helped with hypothermia, he remembered that from his emergency training. While the water heated, he grabbed a spare heating pad from his closet. He activated it and placed it near her core where her heart would be. The alien's eyes opened slowly. They were yellow with vertical pupils. She looked at him with confusion and fear. She tried to speak but her jaw was shaking too hard. "Do not try to talk," Nathan said softly. "You are safe now. Just rest. Get warm." He brought her a cup of hot tea with honey. He helped her sit up and held the cup to her lips. She drank slowly. Some color started returning to her scales. They shifted from blue-gray to a healthier green tone. Nathan sat in his chair across from the couch. He watched her carefully. Her breathing was still shallow but getting stronger. Her shaking began to slow. She would survive. She looked at him again. This time with less fear. More confusion. Her voice came out as a whisper. "Why?" Nathan smiled kindly. "Because you needed help. That is enough reason." She stared at him like he spoke a language she did not understand. Then her eyes closed again. She fell into an exhausted sleep, wrapped in his blankets, finally safe from the killing cold outside. Nathan sat back in his chair. He would not sleep tonight. He needed to watch her. Make sure her condition did not worsen. Make sure she stayed warm. It was going to be a long night, but that did not matter. Someone needed help and he gave it. That was what decent people did. That was what his late wife Sophie always taught him. Help when you can. Ask nothing in return. The rest would sort itself out. Outside, the storm continued to rage through the frozen streets of Frostholm Station. But inside apartment 18, warmth and safety replaced the deadly cold. Nyra slept deeply for the first time in days, unknowingly beginning to learn what it meant when humans opened their doors. Nathan sat in his worn armchair watching Nyra sleep on his couch. The heating unit hummed loudly, making the apartment uncomfortably warm. Sweat formed on his forehead, but he did not turn down the temperature. She needed the heat more than he needed comfort. Every hour he checked her breathing. He touched her arm gently to feel if her skin was warming up. The dangerous blue-gray color faded slowly. Her scales turned healthier shades of green and brown. Good signs. She would live. Around midnight, Nathan made soup. Simple vegetable broth with noodles. He did not know what Valkyrie ate, but most species could handle basic vegetables. The smell filled the small apartment. Nyra stirred on the couch but did not wake. Nathan ate his portion alone at the small kitchen table. He looked around his apartment. One bedroom. One bathroom. A tiny kitchen. A living area barely big enough for a couch and chair. He lived here for 3 years, ever since Sophie died. Before that, they shared a larger place in the station's family sector. After she passed, he could not stay there. Too many memories. Too much emptiness. He moved here to start over. But starting over just meant being alone in a smaller space. At 3 in the morning, Nyra's eyes opened. She looked around in panic, trying to sit up quickly. The blankets tangled around her. She struggled against them like they were traps. "Easy, easy," Nathan said softly from his chair. "You are safe. You are in my apartment. You collapsed outside my door during the storm." Nyra stopped struggling. Her yellow eyes fixed on him with suspicion. "Why am I here?" "Because you were freezing to death," Nathan said simply. "I brought you inside." "Why?" she asked again. Her voice was stronger now but still rough. Nathan smiled a little. "Because that is what people do. They help each other." Nyra pulled the blankets tighter around herself. "Not for warmth now. For protection. Like they were armor." "What do you want from me?" "Nothing," Nathan said. "I want nothing from you." "Liar." Nyra's eyes narrowed. "Everyone wants something. What is your price? What must I pay?" Nathan sighed. He stood up slowly, keeping his movements calm and non-threatening. He walked to the kitchen and ladled soup into a bowl. He brought it to her with a spoon. "Here, eat this. It will help you feel better." Nyra looked at the bowl like it might be poisoned. "What do I owe you for this food?" "You owe me nothing." "Then what is the contract? What are the terms?" Nathan set the bowl on the small table beside the couch. "There is no contract. There are no terms. You were dying. I helped. That is all." Nyra stared at him for a long moment. Then she picked up the bowl with shaking hands. She sniffed the soup carefully. Tasted it. Her eyes widened slightly. She ate quickly, hungrily. She finished the entire bowl in minutes. Nathan took the empty bowl back to the kitchen. When he returned, Nyra was trying to stand up. Her legs wobbled. She grabbed the couch arm to steady herself. "I should go now," she said. "Thank you for the warmth and food. I will find somewhere else." "The storm is still raging outside," Nathan said. "You will freeze again in minutes. Stay until it passes." "I cannot pay you. I am not asking for payment." "Then I will owe you a debt." "You will owe me nothing." Nyra looked frustrated. Angry even. "This makes no sense. Your culture is strange. Why do you help me?" Nathan thought about how to explain. He sat back down in his chair. "My wife Sophie, she died 3 years ago. Cancer. Before she got sick, she ran a shelter for people who had nowhere to go. Aliens and humans. Anyone who needed help. She never asked them for money. Never demanded favors. She helped because they needed help. That was her reason." "But why?" Nyra demanded. "What did she gain?" "She gained the knowledge that she made the galaxy a little bit better," Nathan said quietly. "She gained sleep at night, knowing people were safe because of her. She gained nothing material. But she gained everything that mattered." Nyra shook her head. "On my world, everything is transaction. You give something, you receive something. Balance must exist. This human way makes no sense." "Maybe not," Nathan admitted. "But it is our way. And right now you need help. I can give help. So I give it. Simple." "Nothing is simple," Nyra muttered. But she sat back down on the couch. She was too tired to argue more. Too weak to leave. Nathan stood up. "You sleep on my bed tonight. It is more comfortable than the couch." "No," Nyra said quickly. "I already take too much. The bed is empty. I'm not using it. You need rest. Please." They argued for 10 minutes. Nyra refused. Nathan insisted. Finally, Nathan simply picked up his pillow and one thin blanket from the couch. He laid down on the floor beside the coffee table. "What are you doing?" Nyra asked. "If you will not take my bed, then we both sleep out here," Nathan said. "The floor is cold and hard. Very uncomfortable. Or you could just use the bed and save us both the trouble." Nyra made a sound that might have been a laugh. Or maybe a cough. "You are stubborn." "Yes, I am." She stood up slowly, still wrapped in blankets. "Fine. I will use your bed. But I owe you a debt for this. My people do not forget debts." "Your people can do what they want," Nathan said. "But you owe me nothing. Sleep well." Nyra walked to his bedroom. She paused at the door. "What is your name?" "Nathan Pierce." "I am Nyra. Nyra of the Valkyrie Sand clans." She looked at him seriously. "You saved my life tonight, Nathan Pierce. That is not a small thing." "It is not a small thing," Nathan agreed. "But it is the right thing. Now please sleep. You need to heal." Nyra disappeared into the bedroom. Nathan heard the bed creak as she laid down. He settled onto the couch, using his thin blanket. The apartment was still very hot. He did not mind. He was tired, but he would not sleep yet. He wanted to stay awake a bit longer, just to make sure she was truly stable. He thought about Sophie. She would have liked Nyra. Sophie always appreciated people who fought to survive, who kept going even when everything was against them. Nyra knocked on 17 doors before reaching his. That took courage. That took strength. Outside the wind howled. The storm shook the windows. But inside apartment 18, 2 strangers found unexpected shelter. One gave it freely. The other could not understand why. But understanding could wait for tomorrow. Tonight, survival was enough. Nathan closed his eyes. He listened to the quiet sounds of someone else breathing in his home. It had been 3 years since another person slept here. 3 years of emptiness and silence. Maybe helping Nyra helped him too. Not because he wanted something from her, but because loneliness hurt and kindness healed. He fell asleep with that thought. Tomorrow would bring new challenges. But tonight they were both safe and warm. The storm lasted 3 days. 3 long days where the wind screamed and snow buried the streets of Frostholm Station. Nathan went to work each morning, leaving Nyra alone in his apartment. He always came back with food. Bread. Fruit. Protein bars. Things he bought with his own money. Each time Nyra tried to pay him back. "I can clean your apartment," she offered on the second morning. "I can wash your clothes. Cook your meals. Something." Nathan just smiled and shook his head. "You are a guest. Guests do not work." "Then let me sign a debt contract," Nyra insisted. She pulled out her portable data pad. "I will write an official document. When I have money again, I will repay you. With interest. Standard galactic rate is 15%. "No contracts," Nathan said firmly but kindly. Please, Nyra. Just rest and get better. That is all I want. Nyra wanted to scream in frustration. This made no sense. In Valkyrie culture, everything had price and value. Help came with obligation. Kindness required repayment. But Nathan refused every offer. He gave freely and asked nothing back. It violated everything she understood about how the galaxy worked. On the second evening they sat together eating dinner. Nathan made pasta with tomato sauce. Simple food but warm and filling. Nyra ate carefully, still not used to human cuisine. Tell me about your wife, Nyra said suddenly. This Sophie. What was she like? Nathan's face softened. He put down his fork. Sophie was the best person I ever knew. She saw someone in need and she helped. No questions asked. No conditions attached. But why? Nyra asked. What did she gain? Nathan thought for a moment. She gained joy. That sounds strange maybe. But helping people made her happy. She said every person she helped was proof that good still existed in the galaxy. That we had not lost our humanity. Humanity? Nyra repeated the word. This is important to your species? Very important, Nathan said. Being human is not just about biology. It is about how we treat each other. About compassion. About recognizing that someone else's pain matters as much as our own. Nyra shook her head slowly. On my world we have a saying. The desert provides for those who provide for themselves. We believe in self-reliance. In earning what we receive. That is not wrong, Nathan said. But what happens when someone cannot provide for themselves? When they are sick or hurt or lost? Do they just die? Their clan helps them, Nyra explained. But clan members have obligations to each other. They pay into clan funds. They work for clan benefit. Everything is balanced. And if someone has no clan? Nathan asked gently. Like you? You're alone. Nyra went silent. She had no answer. The truth was, without clan, a Valkyrie was nothing. Owed nothing. Received nothing. The 17 doors that closed in her face proved that. Other species operated the same way. Help only came with strings attached. Until door 18. Until Nathan. On the third day, Nathan helped Nyra contact the Colonial Labor Rights Office. He let her use his communication terminal. He sat beside her while she filed a formal complaint against the labor broker who stole her wages. A bored-looking human official appeared on the screen. Another labor dispute. Let me guess. Contract loophole? Yes, Nyra said. I worked for 2 months. He paid nothing. Then disappeared. The official sighed. This happens a lot. The broker probably left the station already. We can investigate, but it takes time. Weeks. Maybe months. What should I do until then? Nyra asked. Do you have family? Friends? Someone who can support you? Nyra looked at Nathan. He nodded encouragingly. I have help, she said quietly. Good. File your report. We will contact you when we have updates. The screen went blank. Nyra slumped in the chair. Weeks. Maybe months. I cannot stay here that long. Why not? Nathan asked. Because I cannot pay you. Because I have no right to take from you. Nathan pulled up a chair beside her. Listen to me carefully, Nyra. You are not taking from me. I am giving to you. There is a difference. Taking requires force or deception. Giving is a choice. I choose to help you. But I give nothing in return. You give me company, Nathan said. This apartment has been very quiet for 3 years. Empty. Lonely. Having someone to talk to during dinner is nice. Having someone to share coffee with in the morning is pleasant. You give me those things without even knowing it? Nyra stared at him. That is not equal value. Conversation is not worth food and shelter. Who decides value? Nathan asked. You? Me? Some galactic standard? I decide what has value to me. And your company has value. They sat in silence for a while. Outside, the storm finally began to weaken. The wind died down. Snow stopped falling. The worst had passed. Tell me more about Sophie, Nyra said finally. How did she start her shelter? Nathan smiled at the memory. She saw a Aurelian family sleeping in a cargo bay at the spaceport. Mother, father, 2 children. Their ship broke down. They had no money for repairs or hotel. Sophie brought them to our apartment. Gave them our bed. We slept on the floor for a week until they got back on their feet. And then she found another family in need. Then another person. Then another. Soon she was helping someone new every week. She rented a building. Started a proper shelter. I helped when I could, but it was her dream. Her mission. What happened to the people she helped? Nyra asked. Most moved on. Got jobs. Found homes. Started new lives. Some sent her messages years later thanking her. Telling her about their children or their success. She kept every message. Read them when she felt tired or discouraged. Did any of them pay her back? Some tried. She always refused. She told them to help someone else instead. To pass the kindness forward. She said kindness should spread like ripples in water. One act creates many acts. Nyra processed this information slowly. The Valkyrie way was direct transaction. Help given, help returned, balance maintained. But the human way was different. Help given, help passed forward, kindness multiplied. It was inefficient. Unpredictable. Impossible to track or measure. But it had saved her life. I still do not fully understand, Nyra admitted. But I am trying. That is all anyone can ask, Nathan said. Understanding takes time. For now, just accept that you are welcome here. The storm is ending, but you can stay as long as you need. No debt. No contract. Just human hospitality. Nyra nodded slowly. She looked at Nathan's kind, weathered face. He asked nothing from her. Expected nothing. Yet he gave everything she needed to survive. This was humanity. This strange, illogical, beautiful thing called compassion without condition. She did not understand it yet. But for the first time in her life she wanted to learn. 2 weeks after the storm ended, Nathan brought Nyra to his workplace. Frost Home Station Maintenance Company occupied a large building near the spaceport. Workers of many species moved equipment, repaired tools, and prepared for daily assignments. Nathan's supervisor was a middle-aged human woman named Carol. She looked at Nyra with curiosity but no judgment. She needs work, Nathan explained simply. She is strong and willing to learn. I will train her myself. Carol raised an eyebrow. You vouch for her? Yes. That is good enough for me. Carol extended her hand to Nyra. Welcome to the team. Pay is standard rate. Work is hard but fair. Nathan will show you everything. Nyra shook Carol's hand, still amazed at how simple it was. No background check. No long interview. No security deposit. Just Nathan's word and she had a job. The work was difficult. Nyra joined a crew that maintained heating systems throughout the station. They crawled through tight spaces, replaced broken pipes, and carried heavy equipment. Her reptilian strength helped. Her small frame let her reach places larger species could not access. But the other workers made her uncomfortable. A Thesian worked on her crew. The same species that refused her at door number 1. He never looked at her directly. Never spoke to her unless required for work. The silence was heavy with shame. A Gorvan also worked there. He avoided her completely, taking breaks when she arrived, leaving rooms when she entered. The same Gorvan who told her to find a public shelter while she froze. Nyra said nothing. She worked twice as hard as anyone else. She arrived early. She stayed late. She volunteered for the worst jobs. She would not give them any reason to doubt Nathan's choice. She would not embarrass him. One afternoon, a human coworker named Lisa approached during lunch break. She held a large bag. Hey Nyra. I heard you just started working here. I cleaned out my closet and found some extra coats. Thought you might need them. Winters here are brutal. Lisa smiled warmly. Nyra looked at the bag in confusion. I do not know you. Nope, we just met. But you need coats, right? Take them. They just sit in my closet otherwise. How much do they cost? Lisa laughed. Cost? Nothing. They are gifts. Just take them. She left the bag and walked away before Nyra could argue. Nyra opened the bag slowly. 3 thick winter coats. All in good condition. Warm and practical. The next day, another human named Frank brought her a box of supplies. Soap, towels, kitchen utensils. My wife and I had extras. Figured you could use them. Again, no payment requested. No debt established. Just free gifts from strangers. Then came dinner invitations. A human couple named Tom and Grace asked her and Nathan to their home for a meal. They served traditional Earth food and asked Nyra about Valkyrie culture. They listened with genuine interest. They treated her like an honored guest, not a charity case. More invitations followed. Human families she never met wanted to welcome her. Share food. Offer friendship. Nyra's confusion grew into something close to anger. This made no sense. These humans gained nothing from helping her. She had no money. No influence. No connections. She was nobody. A failed worker from a distant world. Yet they gave and gave and gave. One evening, Nyra could not contain herself anymore. She cornered Nathan in his apartment after work. I need to know the truth, she demanded. What do humans really gain from all this? There must be something. A hidden purpose. A secret reason. Nathan looked up from the meal he was preparing. What do you mean? Lisa gives me coats. Frank gives me supplies. Tom and Grace feed me. You give me everything. What? What is the real reason? What am I truly paying with? Nathan turned off the stove. He faced her seriously. You are paying nothing. They gain nothing. That is the truth. Impossible, Nyra said. Everything has a price. Not kindness, Nathan replied. Kindness is free. It costs nothing to give and nothing to receive. But why give it at all? Nyra's voice rose with frustration. Why help a stranger? Why care about someone you do not know? Nathan sat down at the small kitchen table. He gestured for Nyra to sit across from him. She did, her scales showing agitation through their rapid color shifts. Let me ask you something, Nathan said calmly. When you see someone fall down in the street, do you help them up? That is different. That is basic courtesy. Why is it courtesy? What do you gain? Nyra paused. Nothing. But it is just what you do. Exactly, Nathan said. It is just what you do. Humans extend that principle further. We see someone struggling, we help. We see someone hungry, we feed them. We see someone alone, we offer company. Not because we gain something. Because we can. Because we should. But I am not just someone who fell down, Nyra argued. I am a burden. I take resources. I occupy space. I cost you money. You are a person in need, Nathan corrected. That is all that matters. The cost is nothing compared to your life. Nyra stood up abruptly. She paced the small apartment. Your species is insane. You give away your resources to strangers. You expect nothing back. You create no balance. No order. Just chaos of kindness. Maybe, Nathan admitted. But our chaos of kindness built the society you see here. Humans struggled for thousands of years. We fought wars. We hurt each other. We did terrible things. But we also learned that survival means helping each other. That communities thrive when people care about strangers. That kindness is not weakness. It is strength. Nyra stopped pacing. She looked at Nathan with something between admiration and bewilderment. On my world, this would never work. People would exploit it. Take advantage. Some people do exploit it, Nathan said. Even here. Even among humans. But most do not. Most people, when given kindness, want to return it. Want to pass it on. Want to be better. Like Sophie's ripples, Nyra said quietly, remembering their earlier conversation. Like Sophie's ripples, Nathan confirmed. She helped the Rillian family. Years later, that family opened a school for refugee children. Those children grew up and helped others. One act of kindness created 100 more. 1,000 more. That is what humans gain. Not money or power. But a better galaxy. Nyra sat back down slowly. She looked at her hands. Hands that 17 aliens refused to help. Hands that Nathan took without hesitation. I still owe you a debt, she said stubbornly. My people do not forget. Then pay it forward, Nathan said. When you see someone in need, help them. Not because they can repay you. Just because they need help. That is all I ask. Nyra met his eyes. For the first time, she truly saw what made humans different. Not their technology. Not their strength. Their willingness to care about people who could offer them nothing in return. It was illogical. Inefficient. Economically unsound. And it was the most beautiful thing she had ever witnessed. 6 weeks after Nyra started working, the Colonial Labor Rights Office finally contacted her. The investigation was complete. They found her former employer on a trading station 3 systems away. They seized his accounts. They recovered her wages plus penalties. The official transferred the credits to her account. 8,000 credits total. Enough for passage home and some extra. Sorry it took so long. Nyra stared at her data pad. 8,000 credits. More money than she had seen in months. Enough to buy a ticket back to her desert homeworld. Enough to start over with her clan. Enough to leave this frozen station and never look back. She should have felt happy. Relieved. Ready to go home. Instead she felt empty. That evening she sat with Nathan in his apartment. They ate dinner together like they had every night for 6 weeks. Simple food. Easy conversation. Comfortable silence between words. I got my money today, Nyra said quietly. Nathan looked up from his plate. That is wonderful news. I am happy for you. I can go home now. Yes, you can. Nathan's voice was neutral. No sadness. No pressure. Just acceptance. Nyra pushed food around her plate. My clan will welcome me back. I can resume my old life. Work in the sand mines. Follow the traditional paths. That sounds good, Nathan said. It does sound good, Nyra agreed. But her voice lacked conviction. They ate in silence for several minutes. Finally, Nyra put down her fork. Why do humans help? She asked. I have asked this question many times. You have given me many answers. But I want to hear it once more. Simply. Clearly. Why? Nathan thought for a moment. Because we can. Because it is right. That is reason enough. No hidden strategy? No hidden strategy. No secret purpose? No secret purpose. Just genuine compassion? Just genuine compassion, Nathan confirmed. Nyra nodded slowly. She had finally accepted this truth. Humans helped because helping was good. They cared because caring mattered. No complex reason. No deep philosophy. Just simple, pure kindness. I am not going home, Nyra said suddenly. Nathan blinked in surprise. What? I'm staying here. On Frost Home Station. I want to apply for permanent residency. Why? Nathan asked gently. Your clan is waiting. Your world is warm. Why stay in this frozen place? Nyra met his eyes. Because 17 doors closed. But one door opened. That door changed everything. I want to be an open door for someone else. Nathan smiled. A real smile that reached his eyes. Sophie would have loved you. I wish I could have met her, Nyra said honestly. She is here. Nathan touched his chest over his heart. In the choices we make. In the kindness we give. She lives through that. 3 days later, Nyra filed her residency application. Nathan helped with the paperwork. Carol from the maintenance company wrote a recommendation letter. Lisa, Frank, Tom, Grace, and a dozen other humans she barely knew also wrote letters supporting her application. The colonial administration approved it in 2 weeks. Nyra was now a permanent resident of Frost Home Station. She kept working at the maintenance company. She saved her money carefully. She rented a small apartment near Nathan's. She built a life. But she also planned something bigger. 6 months after the storm, Nyra stood in front of a small building in the residential district. She had used all her savings plus a loan from the station's development fund. The building needed work. The heating system was old. The walls needed paint. But it had space. Lots of space. Nathan helped her repair everything. So did Carol, Lisa, Frank, and many others. They worked weekends and evenings. They brought tools and supplies. They asked for nothing in return. Nyra painted a sign above the door. Simple words in standard language, Sophie's Haven Shelter for All. You named it after her, Nathan said softly, standing beside Nyra as they looked at the finished sign. She started this ripple, Nyra explained. She helped you. You helped me. Now I help others. Her name should be remembered. The shelter opened on a cold autumn evening. Nyra placed advertisements in the station's public networks. Free shelter. Free food. No questions asked. All species welcome. The first week no one came. Nyra waited. Nathan visited every day bringing encouragement. The second week, a young Centauri male arrived. He lost his job and could not afford rent. Nyra gave him a bed, hot food, and help finding new employment. He stayed 3 days then moved on, leaving a thank you note. More followed. A Rillian family with sick children. A Gorvan merchant who lost everything in a bad deal. A human teenager running from an abusive home. An elderly Vesker with no family. Nyra helped them all. No payment required. No debt contracts. No obligations. Just help because they needed help. She finally understood what Nathan meant. What Sophie knew. Kindness created more kindness. Help multiplied. One open door became many open doors. One evening, during a particularly brutal winter storm, Nyra sat in the shelter's common room. 5 guests slept in beds upstairs. All safe. All warm. All fed. Someone knocked on the door. Desperate. Urgent. Nyra opened it immediately. A young alien stood there. A species she did not recognize. Blue skin. Forearms. Trembling from cold and fear. Please, the alien whispered. I have no money. No home. I tried other places. They all said no. I have nowhere else to go. Nyra did not hesitate. She stepped aside, opening the door wide. Come in. You are safe here. That is all that matters. The alien stumbled inside. Nyra wrapped a blanket around them. Led them to the warm common room. Brought hot soup and bread. Asked no questions. demanded no payment. The alien started crying. "Why are you helping me? You do not know me." Nyra smiled. She heard her own voice from 6 months ago in that question. She remembered standing at door 18, frozen and desperate. She remembered Nathan's kindness that saved her life. "I help because I can," Nyra said simply. "Because it is right. That is reason enough." The alien looked at her with the same confusion Nyra once felt. But they ate the soup. They accepted the warmth. They took the offered safety. Later that night, after the new guest fell asleep, Nyra stood at the window. She looked out at the frozen streets of Frostholm Station. Somewhere out there, Nathan was in his apartment. Probably reading. Probably drinking tea. Living his quiet, kind life. She touched the window glass. It was cold. The storm raged outside. But inside, warmth and safety existed. Because someone chose to care. Because someone opened a door. Nyra thought about her Valkyrie culture. About transactions and balance and debts. She understood now why that system failed her. It only worked when you had something to trade. When you had nothing, you got nothing. But the human way worked differently. It said everyone deserved help. Everyone mattered. Everyone had value simply because they existed. It was not efficient. It was not logical. It was not perfect. But it was beautiful. And it was enough.